Two timelines, one impossible mystery. Life is Strange Double Exposure follows Max Caulfield as she shifts between two timelines to solve a supernatural murder mystery after finding her friend Safi dead in the snow. In this parallel timeline, Safi is still alive and still in danger. With her new power, can Max solve and prevent the same murder? Buy Life is Strange Double Exposure, available now on Xbox Series X and S, PlayStation 5, and PC. Rated M for mature.
Hello, fellow soldiers, and welcome to the Video Gamers Podcast. In today's top secret mission, we're diving, sliding, and dive, slide, twisty, backslide thinging our way into the recent release of Black Ops 6. We'll be breaking down our thoughts on the campaign, our initial impressions on multiplayer, and probably making fun of me as we talk about the zombies mode. But first, some introductions are in order. I am your host, Josh, and joining me, you'll hear him shouting, "Josh, what did you do? Stop shooting the zombies, you idiot!" It's Ryan.
If anyone has played this game before and you've played zombies, you know what a crawler is, if you've had any sort of time in it. And Josh was very, very good at killing crawlers. I'm just going to throw that out there for the future.
Oh, that's a teaser, all right. Don't worry, I'm sure people are going to hear all about it, Ryan. But we're going to save that part for when we talk about the zombies mode in Black Ops 6. So, welcome everybody to the show. We are excited to be here. People might be saying, wait, Call of Duty Black Ops 6? You guys said you probably weren't going to cover that game.
We changed our minds, baby.
Hey, you know what? As gamers do, we kind of went, man, FOMO was kind of setting in a little bit, and we were like, I'm hearing some good things.
Yep.
And before you know it, we were like, dang it. All right, we're going to be covering Call of Duty Black Ops 6. So I know you and I dove in over the last few days. We have both beaten the campaign. We have both played a decent bit of multiplayer, and we have dabbled in the zombies mode as well. So we're going to get to our thoughts on that in just a second. But we like to start things off with a way of saying thank you to the people that support the show. Thank you to the people that take the time to leave a review or rate us 5 stars. So I'm going to read a very quick review that came in from W243, and it's titled Achievement Unlocked. Great podcast. And it says, read while recording this, please. I was looking for a good podcast for cleaning my room and whatnot, and I found this. I was really looking forward to listening to Video Gamers, and it was great. I had low hopes because all the non-censored podcasts were for 3-year-olds, so I was low on hope, but this always makes me finish the task I'm on, and I have ADHD, so I always got sidetracked. Keep up the good work, and don't let go of your dreams. Also, I have a joke. Why did the chicken cross the road? To escape KFC. Okay. You know what? Bad jokes aside, thank you for leaving the review.
Thank you for the review. I'm glad we can help people clean their room. We're helping clean the world, dude.
Honestly, it's a noble task. Cleaning up the world, helping people mow their yards and all that other stuff too. So, but you know what? More importantly, thank you, W243, for taking the time to leave us a review.
Yes,
we do appreciate it.
Thank you.
So, all right, Ryan, you know what? Let's just do this, man. Let's go ahead and Omni movement our way right into this bad boy.
Yeah.
You have played much more Call of Duty than I have. I have not played any Call of Duties ever, except for Black Ops Cold War when that came out, I think, last year, maybe the year before. They all kind of blurred together. Actually, I think it was 2 years ago, because didn't Modern Warfare 3 come out last year? I think that was the one that came out last year.
March 2023, yeah.
Yeah, so the only Call of Duty that I have ever played is Black Ops Cold War. We actually did a deep dive on that. I liked it. I thought it was good. The campaign was a lot of fun. The multiplayer was fun. It had a zombies mode that I played like one round of, and that was it. But I feel like you have much more Call of Duty background than I do. So where are you at with your like Call of Duty? I know we both say we're Battlefield guys, but like, was Call of Duty a staple for you?
I would say absolutely. It's I'm a big World War II buff. I've always played. I love shooters, even though I'm a big single player guy. I love shooters. I love multiplayers, and I've played almost every Call of Duty since the first Call of Duty back in like '03 or whatever, when I was like 15 or 16 years old when it first came out. And I've played everyone since, except for the last few years when it just kind of started to get, like Black Ops 4 and kind of that area it was so repetitive. It was so the same thing over and over. And that's kind of when I was really into Destiny a lot as well. So I kind of fell off on the Call of Duty, but I've played all of them. I have a mountain of hours in zombies. Some of the best times ever gaming was playing zombies. Some of the best times playing old Nuketown, which is going to be over by the time this episode releases. But this weekend, it's going to be double XP and 24/7 Nuketown, which is awesome. And if you play Call of Duty, you know Nuketown. So I have a long kind of history with Call of Duty. Some good, some bad. A lot of fun with Warzone. A lot of fun with just all the zombie modes, like I said. So yeah, I definitely have played my fair share.
All right, so that's kind of nice because we're going to get two different perspectives on this.
Sure.
Somebody that is basically a complete noob to Call of Duty, and then somebody who it's been a staple for a long time. Like, I know a lot of people are like that. It's weird to me because as somebody that never got into Call of Duty, the release of any Call of Duty game was like just mega video game news, mega video game release. And I was that guy that was kind of going like, don't they release one of these every year? Like, what's the big deal, man?
Like Madden?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, and it kind of has become Madden.
That's why I fell off, is because that's what it started to feel like. And I'm like, I'm not just going to keep paying for this every time,
Yeah. And so, Battlefield was that game for us where I always played all of the Battlefield games.
Yeah.
But recent releases of Battlefield have been fairly disappointing as well. So
you don't feel loved by the love letter, bro?
No, the love letter really was more of like a breakup letter, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? There's always the next Battlefield, Ryan. I'm sure that one's going to be great. All right, so I mentioned it at the top of the show, but for people that are wondering, this is not going to be like an official deep dive episode for people that know what those are. We did play it. Like I said, we both beat the campaign. I probably have, I don't know, I want to say maybe 6 hours in the multiplayer, if that. And then we had a night where we ran zombies for a couple hours together with some other friends. That was a lot of fun. We'll touch on that as well. But you being the resident zombie expert can kind of give a little bit more insight on that. It came across very quickly that I did not know what the heck I was doing. And I will tell people about that a little bit later. So let's start with the campaign.
Yes.
I want to say before we ever even decided to pick up the game, people were really praising the campaign for Black Ops 6, and I did play the campaign of Cold War and I thought it was great. I was like, oh, wow, this is really well done.
Uh-huh.
So you and I both dove into the campaign portion, which, let's be honest, Call of Duty, you don't necessarily buy for the campaign.
Correct.
People always say, oh, the campaign's always good, but it's always really short, ranging anywhere from 4 to 6 hours usually. But that's where we both started. I want to say we're not going to give like major spoilers to the campaign. Like there's a couple reveals and some top secret type stuff that we don't really want to spoil for people, but I do want to talk about a couple of the levels that kind of stood out. So if you don't want to hear anything about this and you plan on playing the campaign, you can probably skip ahead, 5-6 minutes, something like that. But that's kind of your spoiler warning there as well.
Or just go beat the campaign in probably the same amount of time.
You could probably get done with it. By the time we're done with this episode. Yeah. So let me just ask you, Ryan, right up front, what stood out to you about the campaign?
I would say that just overall, it's one of the best campaigns they have put out in a while. They started to get a little stale. I really wasn't feeling them for the last few years. I know the last couple I haven't played, but before that is why I kind of fell off, aside from just the kind of repetitive multiplayer nature of it. But campaigns were always, with Call of Duty, they were pretty cool. They were neat, but it was something that you just blasted through to finish so you could say you did it, and then you get to the multiplayer or you get to zombies. So that's one thing that is kind of always been a staple with Call of Duty. And I think this one changed it a little bit. I think that it didn't have a lot of depth, but what it kept making me feel like was it was just a solid action movie, like an 80s, 90s, just solid action movie. That's what it felt like. That's what it played like. And it was pretty good, man.
Dude, I gotta say, as as somebody that has not played any Call of Duty campaigns except for the one, and Cold War was fine. I mean, I think people said the campaign in that one was fine. I really didn't know what to expect. And so for me, hearing people saying, oh, this is one of the best Call of Duty campaigns in a while, kind of got me excited. And then when I jumped in and I started playing it and I saw how good, like, this was, I was actually pretty blown away. Dude. like give me 20 hours of this.
Yeah.
And I am super happy, man. I mean, I'll say for me, what stood out is it was kind of like the total package. Yeah. It was the level design, the characters, the gunplay, the graphics and the audio, and especially like the, like the set pieces where, something's happening and there's explosions everywhere. And I was just like, yo, I feel like I'm like in Iraq right now, like trying to take out some dude in this caravan like this. I felt like I was actually like a spec ops soldier, doing this. And so I was actually pretty blown away by the campaign and how it started. And it just did not let off the gas, in my opinion. Like, there were so many good levels in the campaign. At one point, you get these missions. I'm explaining this like people don't know what Call of Duty campaigns are because I did not know what a Call of Duty campaign was really like. So I don't want to get too deep in it, but I loved the variety of the gameplay throughout the campaign. In one level, you're trying to infiltrate like a Senator Gala to try to get some information.
Yep.
And you're walking around this like official place, this fancy party, and you're in a tux, and it's like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Definitely like old school, like Mission Impossible vibes. Like the old
that's
game.
What it felt like. I felt like I was freaking James Bond or like what's the Ethan Hunt? From Mission Impossible. It took me a second to think of that guy's actual name. That's what I felt like. And I was like, well, this is actually really cool, man. In one level, there's two levels that stood out to me in the entire campaign. One is the casino level where you're actually pulling off this major heist. Yeah. And I thought that was just really, really cool, man. Like, I know you and I both love like heist movies and games where you get to pull off heists, Grand Theft Auto, for instance, and stuff like that. But we've always said like games hit or miss on the whole like heist thing. Yeah. I felt like this one hit on all cylinders in regards to like the casino level and pulling off this heist. What did you think?
Oh, I totally agree. When I was playing it, I'm like, I can't wait to talk about this level. It had so much to it where there's parts where you're playing poker to get a chip so you can get back to this like back high roller area and do more of the heist. You have to, and then your other guy has to get caught, and then there's so many levels and you keep bouncing between the different people and doing different tasks. And it's got hacking, it's got poker, it's got coming in through like the underground river system. There's just so many factors to it that are so cool and just the epitome of like an old school heist movie that I just was smiling from ear to ear the whole time, and I loved every minute of it. And it was one of the most fun I've had on a level in a long time.
I agree 100%. I felt like I was playing Ocean's 11, the video game. Yeah. It was that good. And this is where I was like, dude, why do they not just make this the game? Like, it was so well done. And I get that, hey, it might take a lot of resources to make this campaign like this, but I was like, dude, I would easily pay $60 or $70 for a 20-hour game of just this. Yeah. For sure. I mean, forget the multiplayer aspect. Just give me more. Maybe that's what Stalker 2 is going to do, Ryan.
Ooh, that would be nice.
Maybe. I know we're both hyped about that, so that's kind of my hope. But so the casino level, knocked it out of the park. There was one other level that really stood out to me, and that is because maybe, again, I'm a noob, but then I'm playing this level where you have to go into this facility, and all of a sudden the game takes a horror twist.
Get your key cards, baby.
Dude, there are freaking zombies. I'm hallucinating. It's creepy. It's dark. I'm in some laboratory. I don't know where I am. The zombies look insane, dude. Yeah. They're like literally like flashing different like skins or something. I don't know. The effects were really, really neat. Next thing you know, my guy is just wigging out. I'm running from this horde of zombies, and I'm in a horror game all of a sudden. Yeah. And I was just like, is this every Call of Duty campaign?
Unfortunately, no. I mean, I can't speak onto the most recent couple, but this one threw me for a loop for sure. Once I went into that area, and I'm like, all right, I got to get these key codes. You have 4 colors. You have to go to these different sections, and you have to kind of figure out and unlock some stuff and do a couple little puzzles. Yeah, bosses. You got that threw me off too in the beginning. I saw a health bar, and I'm like, what? These guys never have health bars. What is this? I'm like, oh, this guy's tough. He's not dying. So it took a little bit more. I'm like, oh, I need a couple grenades and maybe something else. And yeah, it was definitely the way it was set. I mean, they have the capital. They got the funds behind them to make a really well-developed, crisp game that's going to play nice. And it just takes, are they going to have the creative nature to make something enticing that's going to suck you in and keep you there? And that's what they did. And I thought this level was just another nod to that, to where each section you go to, each color where you got to get the key card is something totally different, totally freaky, totally wild. Yeah. And it was just, they did such a good job on helping you navigate through there, helping you get through the area and explaining the story. Believe it or not, there is a story, and it helps explain it too.
Yeah, it really does. So I will say, I don't want to kind of just get into every level of the campaign and stuff like that, because we want to leave some of that for people that, haven't played it and stuff. But I will say this, I was very, very impressed with the campaign in this game, not knowing what to expect. Somebody that was going into it completely blind. It really, really blew me away. Like, I think that this is top notch, even if you don't care about Call of Duty at all, as far as the multiplayer that we're about to get into and being sweaty and your kill death ratio and all that. The campaign alone is well worth experiencing because there's very few like it out there, in my opinion. Real quick, a couple other things that I wasn't really expecting from a campaign was upgrade paths. You do upgrade your home base, which unlocks like a weapons table, a gear table, a training ground where you can get more health or more stamina or things like that as well. So that sense of progression for your character and just getting stronger was there also, which felt really neat in like a first-person shooter game. Yeah. So I thought that was really cool as well. Voice acting was good. Characters were memorable. I mean, anything else that you want to say about the campaign portion of this?
Not too much. Did you really mess around with that whole upgrade stuff and doing all that?
I unlocked everything as far as the training ground, the weapons table, and the gear bench. Okay. And then I did definitely purchase a couple things from there. But then the campaign's over before you really need to unlock a lot of stuff. I would still go through. I would mess with, I would collect, there's different areas where you can collect money throughout each mission, and then you can bring it back, and that helps you upgrade your base and upgrade those kind of different areas. I'd look for the money. I'd unlock the safes that I would find that I would crack into and stuff, just to do it. But I never really messed around with it. Cause like you said, like it's only so long of a campaign. And, I was more just kind of diving in, and I didn't feel the need to. It wasn't hard. It's not like it's, they're never really You don't
too difficult.
need the upgrades.
Yeah, you don't need, I didn't need more health. If I died, I just restart in that area and go on, which I didn't die a ton, but some areas were difficult. But yeah, overall, I didn't feel like I needed that. But it was, like you said, memorable characters. I thought, what's the guy in the wheelchair Woods?
I've got a few ideas on how we can polish this turd of a safe house case. Let's talk when you have a minute. All right. What kind of life savings you got?
Yeah,
Woods was freaking sweet,
he's
man.
good.
I love
Woods.
I
liked all the characters,
all of them were good.
to be honest.
Yeah.
I really did. I was like, these guys definitely fit the role, and they're kind of memorable, and I enjoyed talking to them. I did some of the optional conversations with them and stuff as well.
But yeah,
so.
overall campaign solid. Like I said, it's like an 80s, 90s action movie, and it played the same. So it was pretty solid.
Yeah, I am with the people that say the campaign is fantastic, and I would highly, highly recommend people to play the campaign in this game, if nothing else. So,
yep.
All right, Ryan, we're going to get into the multiplayer, which, hey, that's the heart of any Call of Duty game, but we're going to take a quick break before we do that.
This episode is brought to you by National Geographic, presenting its new documentary film, Endurance. Follow the greatest survival story ever told, unpacking the legendary feat of polar explorer Sir Ernest Shackleton, who kept his crew alive for over a year, despite losing their ship in frigid pack ice. Over a century later, a team of modern-day explorers set out to find the sunken ship. Endurance, now streaming on Hulu and Disney+.
So, you want to be a marketer. It's easy. You just have to score a ton of leads and figure out a way to turn them all into customers. Plus, manage a dozen channels, write 1 million blogs, and launch 100 campaigns all at once. When that's done, simply make your socials go viral and bring in record profits. No sweat. Okay, fine. It's a lot of sweat. But with HubSpot's AI-powered marketing tools, launching benchmark-breaking campaigns is easier than ever. Get started at HubSpot.com/marketers.
All right, Ryan. Call of Duty is multiplayer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. People say, "Oh yeah, the campaign's a throw on, or it's an extra." You're not buying Call of Duty for the campaign. You're buying it to gun down all those sweaty people and get that kill death ratio up there and just dominate the other team.
Get
throw in
wrecked,
some
noob.
teabags sometime. Yeah, exactly, man. And then just stay out of the voice chat lobbies. Those are terrible.
Then you get your voice chat suspended for a month or whatever.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to come out and say this, that for me, as a noob to Call of Duty, I vividly remember jumping into my first match of multiplayer.
Yeah.
Getting wrecked, dude. And then going, this is the stupidest multiplayer ever. How does anybody like playing Call of Duty? All you do is run around this little map, get picked off from 4 different directions, campers, snipers, and all these other suckers that do nothing but spend 400 hours playing Call of Duty. This game's stupid. I hate it. And that was basically it for me.
Yeah.
And then I calmed down a little bit and I said, I've done all this before. I've played Cold War multiplayer. This is the same stinking thing.
Yeah,
man.
you're a pro, man.
Yeah, so I dove back in.
Good,
and
man.
then you know what? I got a little less wrecked that second match.
See, it just takes a little bit of work.
And then the third match, I had an optic unlocked now on my gun.
Yep.
Ooh, I could aim a little bit better. I realized quit running like a madman through these levels and, be a little bit smarter about how you're looking around. And hey, maybe you shouldn't stand out in the middle of the open area.
You don't say.
Yeah, and take a little cover. And then all of a sudden, hey, I'm doing all right. Okay, this game's not so bad.
Yep.
So I will say the multiplayer really started to grow on me. But what was your initial impression? I mean, as somebody that's played a lot more Call of Duty than I have, what stood out to you as far as Black Ops 6 multiplayer mode?
So having not kind of, I mean, I got a good bit of time in, definitely multiple hours in just the multiplayer itself. I kind of fell right back into it, man. It's when you've played enough of it, especially with me playing
riding a bike, right?
with me playing Today's Friday, Nuketown 24/7, double XP. I played like 8 matches of Nuketown in a row, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is just like when I was a kid. And I fell right into my old patterns running. I didn't have the same guns, obviously, because when you start out, it is a little tough unlocking everything. You got to unlock your optics and your extended mags and your stocks and all that stuff, foregrip and whatnot. But just getting back into it and getting that feel again is it takes a minute, but I've just fell right back into form. And I loved it, man. I missed it, and I instantly got kind of real excited to play Call of Duty again, which I never thought I would because I kind of fell off. I hadn't played it in a while. Like I said, got super into Destiny, but it was just a good quality online. I definitely got wrecked sometimes, and then there was times when I went on some good runs, and that's just kind of how it always is. It's definitely insane, fast paced. Like, it reminds me of I played a lot of paintball. I still do. Speedball style, where it's that kind of small field with inflatable bunkers, and it's just chaos. Paint everywhere in the air, flying all over the place. Games last like 2 minutes. So it's kind of felt like that, where it's just insane, like craziness, and then the match is over, and then you kind of you settle down and recover. So I thought the online play that we did was pretty quality, man, and I'm kind of back into it.
Is this comfort food for people that are familiar with Call of Duty? Is that what it is? Is it's like, I know this, I'm familiar with this, and maybe it's a little bit different as far as like maps or guns or the unlocks, or, obviously with Black Ops 6, the Omni movement is kind of their big calling card as far as the multiplayer stuff goes. But is that like the draw? Is that it feels, comfortable because
I think so.
You know what to expect?
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where, it's like riding a bike. You hop back on and you kind of know what you're doing, and it may take a minute to really get comfortable again, but you just kind of almost feel at home. You're like, okay, even if it's a new map, you know how to move, how to do things. You may have some tweaks and different upgrades and different abilities or weapons and whatnot, but it is that same old tried and true. There's a reason they have 15 million of them. Yeah. Like, because they just keep pumping them out and people keep playing it. And so I think for anyone of kind of our age, late 20s and 30s, I think it's that comfort food that you can go back to the well, and you may not have the most amazing time, but you're not going to have a bad time.
Yeah. I will say for me, once I started to get used to the pacing and not being an idiot and standing out in the open and kind of being a little bit smarter, I did find myself doing much, much better. I even won a couple matches of like free for all, which is hard to do. So that was really like the carrot for me, is like, oh man, I found the gun I like. I got the attachments. I'm starting to win these like one-on-one fights and realizing where to go and how to move. And I even started sliding a little bit and doing the dive from the Omni movement.
Yep.
And then I got into a harder lobby and got wrecked all over again, and then was just like, oh, come on.
Well, yeah, because it all has a skill-based matchmaking and stuff. So you get one good run and you're feeling good about yourself, and you will get humbled very quick.
Yeah. Oh, I got humbled real quick on that. So, just like we heard people talking and praising the campaign, for me, some of the online comments and stuff I heard from people and just general opinion is that this is probably the weakest maps in a while as far as for multiplayer goes. I don't know any of these maps. Now, I do know Nuketown because Nuketown was in Cold War.
Yeah.
And so for me, I just don't know the maps. I will say, I think they could be better. There's a lot of, sight lines and things where it's kind of stupid. And I'm like, it's too easy for snipers and that kind of stuff. But do the maps stand out to you either as a negative or a positive? Do you have anything, to say about those as somebody that is a little bit more familiar with them?
I don't know if it's just nostalgia, but like playing Nuketown or when you play the old maps, there was just something about them that fit the play style and the way Call of Duty multiplayer is played. And the new ones I felt like it was almost too much. There's holes here and lips there and ways around there, and it's just there's too many ways that there can just be everybody everywhere. And so it's almost, there's no kind of cohesive unit that you can push forward with unless you're really, really good, like a good squad that knows what everybody's doing. But it just seemed like there was just always guys everywhere, and it's always just like, can you win the one-on-one battle and then move along, to the next? And there's just chaos everywhere. So the map design just seemed a little chaotic and open to me, where there was just too many lanes, too many areas where guys can just shoot you from across the map. And so I wasn't a big fan of what I've played so far. I'm definitely going to get into more, and maybe it'll grow on me. You never know. All it takes, it's like golf, it just takes that one good match.
Yeah, I honestly, that kind of is what got me hooked. I will say, I think the night that we were playing multiplayer together, I commented and just said, I feel like I'm getting shot from like 20 different directions. Like, I just never know where somebody is going to be. and it's a little frustrating to like just be getting shot from behind me. And it's like, well, I didn't even know that guy was there. And now I'm dead and I got to run back again and that kind of stuff. So, part of Call of Duty is the progression. As you play and you get kills, you get XP that, unlocks weapons and attachments for your weapons and score streak unlocks and all that. Nothing new in that regard that I was aware of. I think that's all the same. So last point on the multiplayer, Ryan, let's talk about the Omni movement.
Yes.
Okay. Because this was the big calling card that they were really touting for this and saying, oh, the Omni movement system is revolutionary. It's going to change Call of Duty. I'm just going to come out and say it. I freaking hate the Omni movement. Listen, look, I get it. I'm a little bit older. My reflexes aren't what they used to be. I'm pretty good at first-person shooters. Yeah. I've been playing a lot of them. My aim is pretty good. I kind of have to readjust to the pacing, which I feel like I did. But, towards the end, I'm doing pretty good at this. But, dude, this Omni movement crap, I just don't. I know people love it. I know it adds a layer to like skill levels and stuff like that. But dude, we played a match. Where these two guys on the other team were the sweatiest Omni movement masters you've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
And these guys are diving, rolling, sliding, bunny hopping, jumping, springing through the air, and then laying out in a full prone dive midair, 360 no scoping people, and then sliding and knifing me in the shins and instant killing me. And this is all they did the entire match. Like, they knew they were trolling people. They were in a lobby that they shouldn't have been in because they were way better than us.
Oh yeah.
And it was just like, we were just like, dude, there's that guy again. And I remember his name, Ito Cookies. So Ito Cookies, if you're listening, like, I hate you, man.
Yeah, man.
But it was just like, all he would do is just run, jump, slide, flop around on the ground, knife you.
Yeah.
And I felt like there was nothing I could do, man, like nothing. And so for me, this is the equivalent of like building in Fortnite.
Oh, okay.
Where I just don't want that in my game. I don't want to play against people that are really, really good at this. That was my main complaint with Fortnite is I don't want to shoot at a guy and then have a 20-foot skyscraper get built in a half a second and then me just go, nope, that's not for me. And I feel like the Omni movement is kind of that in this game for me. I know that probably makes me sound like an old man, but what do you think about the Omni movement?
I feel like they literally just added it and designed it just for trick shots and like streamers because that's what they were already doing. They were doing all these crazy trick shots. They're like, let's put this in and just make it crazy and let's see what they can really do, and so I just before we started recording today, I'm on Nuketown. Dude's running around with like a bat or something, and he's doing the same thing. He's just jumping and diving and sliding. So I made it my mission that whole match just to try to find him. I'd look for him and his stupid bat running around because he was just trying to get a bunch of those trolling everybody. So I'm not going to say that I dislike it, that it's like made my experience poor or...
I will. I hate it.
I know you will. I didn't mind it as much because it was kind of fun once you get the feel of it. How to dive and slide and move around. It definitely helped me when we played zombies trying to come save you. But it was not something that took away maybe as much for me as it did for you. But I think that it's probably not going to go anywhere.
It's not.
Yeah,
I think staying.
It's staying. So it's either buckle up and learn how to use it or get off my lawn.
I'm totally fine with the get good scrub.
Yeah.
I know. It's like I could just spend the time to get good at this, but I'm not going to spend the time. So instead, I'm just going to spend the time complaining about people that are way better at it than me.
Exactly. So, what more can you ask for?
Yeah. So, all right, we're running low on time, but we have to touch on zombies mode. We had a fantastic night of playing zombies the other night.
That was
we
a blast,
had 4 of us in there. It was me and you, and then 2 of our friends, legendary Jake, and a coworker of mine who's become a good friend, Matt. You, Jake, and Matt were all zombies experts. I had played 1 round of zombies in Cold War. I didn't know what the heck I was doing other than Josh shoot zombie.
Yeah.
And so we're doing zombies. You guys are running around to these different machines. You're like, Josh, come over here, get this juggernog. We're gonna find the pack-a-punch and all this stuff. And I don't know what any of this stuff means. All I know is we're shooting hordes of zombies, and I like that.
Yeah.
It's a neat PvE kind of experience that's built into this. I know people love zombies. I've heard the stories of how great zombies was back in the day. Again, one of the general online consensus things was, hey, this zombies mode is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And so I don't have a comparison for that to say whether zombies is good or not. But you, Jake, and Matt all seem to be appreciating what this zombies mode was. Is that fair to say?
It is fair to say, and it's also like you weren't kidding. Like it was. We played 3 or 4 matches or whatever, and it was
we played for like hours.
Yeah, we were on for hours. Each one, because we got pretty far. We had 20 plus rounds or whatever the waves. So if anyone hasn't played, you're in this map. You get waves of zombies that come. Once you kill them all, Josh, a new wave starts.
Yep.
So
that's a wave-based.
You're there to progress, and you can unlock and upgrade your weapons. And then there's like certain things you have to do throughout to get to different areas. You can buy open doors. You have to get to bosses. Kind of tons of stuff. And it just played like I remembered. You know those things that you do something when you're younger or a long time ago that you have such fond memories about, and you do it again and you're just kind of let down. Like, man, that wasn't as good as I remember. This was every bit as good as I remember, man. This was everything I wanted it to be. I had so much fun with you guys, especially with you having like it being your first experience in the zombie world like that. It was just something different, and it just drew right back to nostalgia and just good gameplay right now. So it was current. It felt current. It wasn't like dated. Everything they did, they stayed true to what made zombies good, and then they added a little flair to make it even better. So I had an absolute blast, dude. It was so much fun, and I would say this game's worth it just for the zombies.
I will say, as somebody that is new to zombies, I had a blast as well.
Yeah.
And again, maybe some of that is just sharing the fun with friends. This is why we love multiplayer
absolutely.
games, and the fact that we had 4 of us that were all playing together. I had a great time. Like, I would 100%, if somebody was like, hey, does somebody want to play zombies? I'm in. Like, that was fun to me. We have to talk about the elephant in the room, so to speak, Ryan.
Yeah. The crawler in the room.
We have video of this that we'll share, but you guys have the strategy where you knock the legs off of a zombie, you leave them crawling around the level so that people can run all over the map and buy upgrades and spend the money that you get and all that stuff. I am coming into this with all I know is you're supposed to shoot these zombies. Josh sees zombie, Josh shoots zombie. And so, we're talking, and all of a sudden 2 zombies come after me, and I light those suckers up, and then I just hear from 3 other people, Josh, don't shoot them. And then I went, what? And then a new wave starts, and then everybody's scrambling, running around like crazy, trying to survive.
Oh, where's Pack Punch? Oh, there it is. Cool.
No, Josh!
Cool.
He killed the crawler.
Josh!
He was coming right for me, man.
No, he wasn't. He was down. I was watching. I was standing there watching.
I really was trying to get
I have it recorded, so I'll pull it. I watched it.
And you were right in front of me. I watched the entire thing, too.
But Ryan had been waiting a long time.
And we lived. We survived that wave. And then you guys are running around. I'm by myself at this point. I don't know where I'm going. I'm just running around looking at these different weird machines, speed cola and all this other stuff. Guess what attacks me? A freaking zombie. What do? I shoot the zombie. And then what do I hear, Ryan?
Josh, you killed another crawler.
Yeah. And then I'm like, of course I did. He was coming right for me, man. And then I just hear you guys just laughing and then being like, stop shooting the zombies, Josh.
We put a restriction.
And then I'm like, it's literally called zombies. You're telling me not to kill zombies? So, oh my goodness. I don't know that I've laughed this hard in a while. And then you guys just kept cracking up because I kept killing the last zombie in the level, which starts the next wave. And apparently as the waves progress, they get harder and harder.
Yes.
I just want to come clean. I realized the error of my ways after the 5th or 6th time.
Yeah.
Like this was.
And we got
Best part
receipts.
was-
I got them all on recording, so I got receipts
my
too.
Goodness. You'll have to take the time to put that compilation together. The beauty of this is that you think I would have learned after like the first or second time.
No, you didn't.
And then gone like, oh, okay. It took like 5 or 6 times of me killing the last zombie and starting a new stage before I was like, oh, I get what you guys are saying.
That's when eventually I was like, all right, you guys go off. I'm going to take this crawler. And I just had him circling me, in the area while you guys got all your stuff. Because we would all disperse. Like the first time, Jake was on the other side of the map. And then Matt was right there. I was already dead because I like went into this area to try to save one of you or something. And so it's just you guys there. And then that's when you turned around, smoked them both. And then Jake's like, oh no. And Matt was like, no, you killed it. It was so good because you just kept doing it. And I could tell it was an accident the first 4 or 5 times.
It was not on purpose.
Because you just saw it and you panicked and shot the zombie and then it'd go boom. And then the next wave would start and we're like, oh no. And everybody's running to upgrade and get all their stuff. Because like you said, they get tougher, they get harder. So you have to upgrade your weapons, pack a punch, get better, reloads, faster speeds and whatnot. And yeah, you put us in a little bit of a bind some of those times, but that's what makes it fun, man. That's the craziness and the chaotic nature of zombies is to where guys will be running in weird spots, get jammed up and something grabs. I saw a video this morning. These guys hopped in an elevator and they're running and they're screaming and the dude hits the button to go down in the elevator right before the door shuts. One of those crazy zombies with the arm. Reaches out, grabs one of the dudes from the elevator and pulls them out right as the door's shut. And then the elevator goes down and the guy's like, ah! He's up on top just getting mutilated and the guy's going down and they're just cracking up. It's just this mode, as crazy as it is, it's just pure fun and chaos. And I just absolutely fell back in love with it. It's been so long since I played quality zombies. I'm hitting all my old buddies up like, dude, you guys got to get this. We got to get playing again because it's so much fun.
Well, that's a good segue, Ryan, because I want to move into our overall thoughts on this game. Now, this isn't a deep dive because, again, I don't feel like we have enough playtime, to really say, hey, here's our full thinking on this. And we've always been very clear that we can give, an initial impression or a deep dive if we feel like we've played a game enough. But in this case, we're just going to go with what do you think about this? I mean, between the campaign, the multiplayer, the zombies, what are your overall thoughts on Black Ops 6?
I would say Call of Duty's back, baby. For me, at least, man. I'm back on board. We did what did we do? The Game Pass or whatever to try it out.
Did the Game Pass.
We're like, $70. I'm not sure. They're all like Maddens. I think I'm gonna go buy this game.
Really?
Yeah, I think so, dude. Because I have a feeling I'm gonna want to play multiplayer and zombies for quite a while. So I think it was good enough between the campaign, the quality nature of the multiplayer and how I felt about playing it again, and then just the utter chaos and joy from zombies. I think overall it is just a solid game. And like I said, campaign was great if you're a single player guy. Multiplayer can be sweaty or just fun, and then zombies is just a blast. So I think overall it's top notch for me. It's one that I would say you should get.
It's funny for me because I really enjoyed the campaign. I think everybody should play the campaign.
Yes.
So even if you don't want to drop $70 on this, pick this game up on Game Pass for $11.99, play the campaign, cancel your Game Pass. It is well worth $12 to experience that alone.
For sure.
The multiplayer I find to be a little bit overly repetitive, in my opinion. When I think about other types of shooters, whether it's a battle royale or Overwatch with the 38 different characters that you can play and stuff like that, for me, Call of Duty multiplayer feels repetitive. And I get that you get new gun unlocks and you upgrade those, and there is a draw there for sure. But I don't know, man. The raw multiplayer doesn't quite click with me. Although with friends, it is a lot of fun because we did play as a group. We had 4 of us. I played before you got to hop on with us. I played with 4 other guys, And we had a lot of fun being able to communicate and work together. So it's like that part I really do enjoy. But like the whole like, oh, I'm just going to hop on by myself and play some Call of Duty. I won't do that because I don't enjoy the multiplayer that much. I will say I had an absolute blast doing zombies. I don't know how many times I can do zombies. Like after the 10th like attempt, it's like, is it going to start to feel repetitive, or is it like you said, there's always something crazy that happens? Like I know when we were playing, we were all down. One guy was way off on the map and I was like, hey, what's this? I was down and crawling around and I'm like, what's this little skull thing?
Oh,
You know, and you guys were all like, crawl over it, touch it, you know? And I'm like, oh, okay. And then boom, it killed everything on the map. And it was like, everybody was alive. And then it was like, oh, that was really cool. So for me, like, I don't think I would drop $70 on this game, but I absolutely am super glad that we picked this up. I got the Game Pass. I definitely want to play some more. Like if you said, Josh, we're playing zombies later tonight, we got 3 of us, do you want to join us? Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that is with Dragon Age Veilguard just releasing yesterday. And it's like, you could pull me away from that very easily if I knew that people were playing. So I think there's a ton of fun to be had there. My thing would be, I would pick it up on Game Pass, even if it's 2 months, you know, play it for 60 days. You spend $24 or $28 or whatever it is, and then you get your Call of Duty out of it. $70 for this seems like a lot for me, especially for something that's, you know, released annually. But as an overall thought, this game's a lot of fun, dude.
It was a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun, man. Well, like, I get why people like it.
And think of this, like, let's say the campaign's, 8 hours. You're spending like, $8-9 an hour just for the campaign alone.
Which I mean, almost worth it.
If you're thinking about just going, going to see a movie or doing anything
movie
like
and a dinner
that,
will cost you $70.
Yeah, exactly. So
for
to get
3 hours,
to get that much fun in a good, solid story with fun campaign, fun multiplayer, and fun zombie mode, like to me, I think it is steep. It is something it is repetitive. I know you talked about the multiplayer being repetitive. Like Battlefield, you can hop in a helo and cruise around with your buddy, or you could go in a tank or a jeep, or then you can snipe, or there's a million different things to do that can change up that kind of flair. But it's just when you're playing the multiplayer and you get that one good round, that'll keep. That's like golf. You hit one good shot and you're back for 15 rounds. So it's just it's that one good thing that keeps you coming back, or that one unlock you want to get for that next attachment. But yeah, overall, especially if you're just going to do Game Pass, I think it's one of those kind of can't miss.
I am a fan overall. If we're taking everything together, then this game is absolutely a win, in my opinion. I think for me, the multiplayer is probably the least attractive option, but it's still really good. And I just don't like the Omni movement, but I'm old. So, all right. Awesome. Well, that's it for this episode. Hopefully this gives you some insight onto Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Sounds like Ryan and I both really enjoyed this game. My opinion, I don't know if it's worth $70, maybe to the right person, but it is absolutely worth picking up and playing on Game Pass, in my opinion. To me, that's a no-brainer if that's a question from people. Ryan, I mentioned it earlier, but we are going to be diving into Dragon Age Veilguard. I got to play a couple hours last night. That will be our next
with controller.
Yeah, people will hear about that in that episode. Ryan may have seen a rare Josh tilt last night from me because I was not happy about some issues that I was running into with Dragon Age Veilguard, and I was very vocal about that. And Ryan was just cracking up because it's not something I do very often. But we'll save that for that episode. Thanks for joining us. Remember to rate us 5 stars. Leave us a review if you enjoyed the content. Check us out at Video Gamers Pod on socials. And if you want to go the extra mile and help to support this podcast and be a person that brings joy to the world, to those people that are cleaning their rooms and mowing their yards, you can support the show over at multiplayersquad.com. As little as $5 a month. It's not very much at all, but it really does go a long way for us to keep bringing you awesome content. So for Ryan and myself, until next time, happy gaming.
Josh, there's a crawler behind you. Don't kill it. Don't kill it.
Oh.